Welcome back to the Hit in the Turnbuckle podcast, NWA Power Reviews time. And this NWA, and I apologize to NWA actually. I need to start this with an apology. Last week's NWA Power Review did not take place. One of the first times actually that we didn't do this. For two reasons. I was very, very busy last week. And secondly, and as you can probably see if you're watching on YouTube or here on Spotify, I am not joined by my NWA ride or die, Miss Fiona Lochran. She is in Texas right now. I hope you're having a wonderful time over in Texas, Fee, and hopefully you'll be back, if not next week, the week after, for these power reviews, because they are definitely not the same. They're not going to be the same without you. It's going to be abundantly quick, unfortunately, just because it's just me doing the review today. Lots of interesting stories coming from the NWA following this episode of Power this week. And we're going to go talk about it straight away. Now, NWA Power started this week with a host of stars of the show. We had one of the Slime Balls, we had Carson Drake, we had Thomas Latimer, we had the Paige Sisters, and I want to say Tyler Franks. I get these two mixed. Hunter Drake, sorry, Hunter Drake, that's it, who apparently is Kenzie's boyfriend. Now, the interesting bit about it is when they opened up a gym anyway, and Carson Drake was going, no one's going to go here, ha ha ha, does his laugh. I'm not going to try and do the laugh. But it was more so to the left of the screen with the Paige sisters. Now, at one point during the opening, Kylie Paige is giving Hunter Drake a look, and it's a look as if to say, "Are you going to tell her or not?" It was it was one of those looks, and in from there was talks about Big Mama. Kylie doesn't like Big Mama. That's Kenzie's partner. They're champions, tag champions at the moment, because Kenzie took Kylie's place due to injury. And it's got the world talking. Is all well within the Paige sisters. Now, we mentioned it on X last night. Me and Fiona was talking on X last night. We did tag the Paige sisters and NWA in, and we got a response from Kylie Paige, not Kenzie though. Kylie Paige basically indicating that everything is okay in the world of the Paige sisters. Now, why is this an important bit of news? Well, this coming Saturday, NWA presents Hard Times. One of the matches on the Hard Times, which to be honest, I thought was a foregone conclusion, has now been kind of, well, it's now in doubt, maybe, shall I say. What I thought was going to be a straightforward win for somebody now may not be. It's for the number one contendership for the Burke, for the women's world title, held by Kenzie Page. And the match pits Natalia Markova against Kylie Page. Now, initially, I think we all thought that Markova was going to win this match and probably go on to NWA 77. I hope I said that right, guys. And beat Kenzie. That was what me and Fiona was talking about a couple of weeks ago. And that was kind of what we had in the mix. However, with this thing going on in the background, is the result of that match now in question? I mean, obviously, it's not been recorded until Saturday. The other theory that I may have is that, and I'll ask Fiona when she returns on this hopefully next week, if not the week after. The other theory is Markova does win the match, goes on to NWA 77, and Kylie costs Kenzie the NWA Women's World Championship at NWA 77. Could be the other thing. It was a very interesting opening, and it's got the world a buzz. So we'll wait and see. But according to Kylie, all is well within the Paige sisters. Has she been up to naughties with Hunter? We'll save that for another. We'll save that for NWA After Hours, which we don't ever record. Anyway, let's move on. Stipulation match started this week's Power. Hair versus Mask. I really wanted Fee to be here for this. This was Alex Misery versus our favorite wrestler in the NWA, Gags the Gimp, in a match that Gags' mask and Alex's hair was on the line, and Joe Ocasio was the referee. Now, Joe Ocasio, we had on a couple of weeks ago, had a great match with Tom Latimer, fell a bit short in becoming NWA World Heavyweight Champion, but nevertheless, he was referee for this match this week. And I do think that Alex Misery is one of the unsung heroes in the NWA. He is, without a doubt, he's very, very good. He is. I don't think he gets the credit a lot of the time that he deserves for his in-ring ability. Certainly in the NWA, it hasn't amounted to any, excuse me, championships as of yet, but he is abundantly good. He is really, really good. We don't see Cags very often in the ring either. This match was actually really, really good. It has a lot of funniness in there as well during this contest. I really did enjoy this. It was going all over the place. There was times in which I thought Gags was going to lose the mask, and Alex Misery was trying to rip it off at one point during this. There was a lot of that during the whole match. Now, nevertheless, what happens in this match is Alex Misery goes and gets a kendo stick, and Joe Ocasio blocks him from using it on Gags. However, Gags has got now gets a kendo stick and hits Joe Ocasio, and Alex Misery and Gags are then beating Joe Ocasio in apparently, and a new allegiance has been formed with Gags and Alex. Now, could this be a simple thing? Was Alex didn't want to lose his hair, Gags didn't want to lose the mask, so let's attack the referee so that it's thrown out, so neither lose Z mask or Z hair? Could be. Or as Alex Misery recruited Gags much like he did Lev. He beat Lev, if you remember, and Lev had to serve him. So there is a lot now of interesting bits and pieces to this, and I don't know what's going on, basically. But nevertheless, it is very, very interesting to see what happens with this going forward. Now, sometimes with NWA, we don't get a follow on. And sometimes we do. So I'm hoping that there isn't much of a follow on. I'm hoping that we do get, a follow on in this match, because we need to kind of understand a bit more the allegiance between Gags and Alex. And if there is one, what is it? Or is it just a case, like I said, that he didn't want to lose hair or mask? Either or. Anyway, it was a good match. It was a solid way to open Power. It just didn't get a victory either way. And I do apologize. I've got something in my throat today, and it's making me a bit gunky, a bit gurky. So apologies in advance for that. Now, on to some other team that have a little bit of a problem right now, and that is the Southern Six. The Southern Six were, if you remember last week, now those of you that watched last week, and apologies, like I said, I didn't do the review last week, it was Billy, it was Alex Taylor, and it was Ricky Morton, and they were playing pool. And the talk is about this Jack Dane Memorial Tournament, which Billy got a bye for. He's going. He went through to the second round. Colby Carino beat Sam Adonis in a great match last week on Power. To puts him against Billy coming up. May even be next week. Actually, I'm not sure. But there was talking about, hey, look, Billy was basically saying how he was going to win the championship, and Ricky Morton was like, "Oh, Kerry's in this tournament," and there was having a bit of a to do. And Alex Taylor was trying to comment and say, "Look, who cares as long as one of the Southern Six win, right?" Well, this week Kerry has joined. Now he also got through to the round. He beat Wrecking Ball Legursky last week. It was actually a good, really good sort of David versus Goliath match, really. In a lot of ways, it showed a great excellence of Kerry Morton. Now, so he's through that. They potentially meet, I want to say, in the semi-finals, should they both get that far. But this week they are in a bar. And again, the conversation was alluding to this tournament. Now, much like the Paige sisters, things are not all going well in the world of the Southern Six, and Kerry and Thrillbilly were certainly nearly coming to blows at one point about who was going to win the tournament. And there was also talk that there was also Thrillbilly was also saying about how um, Colby Carino and about being a second generation star, and obviously Kerry's a second generation star as well. So there was a little bit of a needle, shall we say, between the two. Alex Taylor again coming out saying, "Look, who cares? You know, as long as one of the Southern Six win, we all win. You know, it doesn't matter." So Alex is trying to definitely be peacekeeper in this, but all isn't well there. They did end up having a truce. They were fine. They had some shots in the bar, but something tells me, a bit like the Page sisters, that the Southern Six are having a little bit of a to do here. And again, it could all come to a head, I believe, in the semi-finals. Should both men get there, it will potentially be Thrillbilly Silas Mason versus Kerry Morton. We shall see. Right, tag action was next. Now it was the women's tag action, and it was now Sam Starr has got herself a new partner. As we all know, Ella Envy left the NWA. They lost the tag titles to obviously Kenzie and Big Mama. Ella Envy leaves the NWA. So Miss Starr needs a new partner, and she got a very, very adequate replacement in Tiffany Nieves. Now, the last time we saw Tiffany, she was in that cage match with Markova, which was tremendous. Unfortunately, she didn't come on the winning side of that cage match, but she's now teaming with Miss Starr, and they were taking on the debuting Moneybirds. Now, me and Fee have all said that the one thing that the women's division in the NWA was lacking, certainly in the tag division, was some more talent. You know, I mean, Kenzie and Big Mama's a little bit of a makeshift team, and it would have been if it was the same if Kylie was in it as well. So Tiffany and Sam was a bit of a makeshift team, but the Moneybirds are a tag team. So it's nice to see a little bit of new blood, shall we say, coming into the women's tag division of the NWA. Now, the match itself was really good. Actually, some great tag team continuity from both teams, albeit with some miscommunication from Miss Starr and Tiffany Nieves. And it is that miscommunication that ends up costing them the match. And really, a shocking win for the Moneybirds. You wouldn't have expected the Moneybirds to have picked up the victory in this match, given the fact that Tiffany Nieves and Sam Starr are two world-class wrestlers. Sam Starr, third generation wrestler in her own right. So very interesting that the Moneybirds picked up the victory here. Sam Starr, Tiffany Nieves weren't very happy with this match, or they definitely weren't very happy with the outcome of this match. Now, you could put that down to a little bit of inexperience between them both, perhaps. Now, Tiffany Neves has a has a habit of turning on her partner as well, and we've seen that in the past. And I wonder if that could be a start of a program between Miss Starr and Tiffany, or whether it was just a one and done thing. Nevertheless, the Moneybirds pick up a very impressive victory, and I wonder if they are going to be potentially in line for a women's tag team championship match against Kenzie and Big Mama. And I do wonder if that's going to happen anytime soon in the future. Could it happen at NWA 77? The Crockett Cup is right around the corner. That's coming up in May. Obviously, there is hard times at the weekend. Now, I will do some predictions at the end of the show. I apologies that Fiona, obviously, okay, she's having so much fun in Texas. She doesn't, there was no way was I going to drag her onto this. I would have had to pay a lot of money to do that, and quite frankly, the budget isn't there. But no, in all seriousness, Fiona would have been doing her predictions if she was here, but I would do them at the end of this show For the matches that have been announced, anyway, we know that a lot of some of the NWA stuff doesn't get announced. So from the matches that are announced as of the 19th of March at nearly 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern time for those of you in the States, we'll do that. So anyway, big victory for the Money Birds. Congratulations on the victory on your debut on NWA Power. Now, another interesting thing that happened last week was Aaron Stevens announced that he had signed a lucrative new contract with the NWA, which guaranteed a title shot. Now, what he announced at the end was he was going after Tom Latimer for the World Heavyweight Championship. And at this point, he's now talking to Carson Drake about something. And it's interesting that we didn't see, but we didn't quite understand what he trying to recruit Carson. What was the plan here with Aaron Stevens? And I think the plan is mind games. He's trying to do what EC3 really had done for a number of years on Tom Latimer and get into his head. And we'll leave it at that because there's something that happens after the main event that alludes to what I've just said. Now let's get into the main event. It is another round one of the Jack Dane Memorial Tournament. And it was Max the Impaler. Again, Max did not have the Sinister Minister James Mitchell alongside. Going against Frank. Now, forgive me, I cannot remember who Frank comes out with. So I have to, apologies, I didn't write it down and I should have done. So I apologize for that. But Frank comes out, and Frank is Judas, who was a part of the Miserably Faithful, which was quite interesting. And again, forgive me, I can't remember who the guy that comes out with Frank, but nevertheless, Brandon McCall. Big thank you, Brandon McCall. I did read it on the comments. That's why I was looking down. Brandon McCall. Comes out with Frank, who is Judas. I don't know what has happened here. Why was Frank? Why the change? What was going on? Now, apparently, Brandon McCall is now a part of Austin Idol management, which would indicate that Frank, i.e., Judas, is now a part of Austin Idol's group, apparently. Which is very, very interesting. Now, Frank and Max had a very hard-hitting contest. What I would say, I hadn't seen Max be dominated in the way that Max was dominated by Frank on NWA Power this week. Frank, we know what Frank's like. For those of you that know previously, Judas, you know the strength, you know the size, everything. Max is very, Max has got that in abundance as well. But Max was throwing around a lot more than I would ever expected to have seen in this particular matchup. And it was Frank that ended up getting the victory and going through to the next round of the Jack Dane Memorial Tournament. Very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Who is in that final? We don't know. Now, that brings me to Hard Times. And I think Hard Times may have given away who is in the final, or who certainly is not in Z final of the Jack Dane Memorial Tournament. The reason I say that is that there is matches on this show that kind of gives away who's definitely not in that match. So apologies for everybody, but I'm going to do this in reverse order this time. So we're going to get it. So this has come from Wikipedia. There is 11 matches, although one of them is the great wrestler that is TBD and the other great wrestler that is TBD in the number one contendership match in the finals of the Jack Dane Memorial Tournament. So there's 10 matches that we're going to go get into in this. And I'm going to start with a 6-person tag or 6-man tag team match. Alex Misery, Lev, and Gags, we now know they're all together. We now know that for sure after this week's Power. Against Size Matters, Eric Smalls, and Sam Stackhouse. Sam Stackhouse, who will be a guest on NWA Spotlight coming up in April. And Tyler Franks. Very interesting indeed. Who's going to win this match? I'm going to go with Size Matters and Tyler Franks. I think Sam Stackhouse is going to have an amazing match here. And for me, he's going to be the difference between the two teams. Although Alex Misery and Lev, two great singles competitors. Tyler Franks, a very good up and comer from KFW as well, by the way. So for me, though, Sam Stackhouse makes the difference, and Sam Stackhouse gets the victory for the team. Now we move to a tag team match, which I'm not quite sure if there's a story from it, but we may get one in the weeks that lead up to it. Of course, this is hard times. Remember, we were probably going to be about 4 to 6 weeks behind hard times. So probably about right when you think of it, when we've got some matches still to come in the Jack Day Memorial Tournament. So anyway, the Temple of Doom, Stone Rockwell, and the Beastman will go against Baron von Storm and tag team partner Brandon Beretta. Interesting, this one. Temple of Doom, I remember from the last one. They were quite impressive. Baron von Storm needs to find a partner that can handle him, shall we say, in more ways than one. Interesting. This one I don't quite know where we're going to go with this, but I'm going to say, Fee, I know you're going to kill me when I say this, and I'm sorry, Baron, as well. I think the Temple of Doom are going to win this. I really, really do. So apologies, Baron, and apologies, Fee. I know you like Baron, and you know you like the character Baron von Storm. So unfortunately, I'm going to give victory to the Temple of Doom, and you're not here to say otherwise. So, haha. Anyway, now, so we've already said earlier on that Aaron Stevens was potentially going against Tom Latimer for the World Championship. Now, at hard times, which again goes into the story here, Tom Latimer's defending the championship against Carson Drake. Now, what we know from the seeing the match graphic is that Carson Drake is cashing in his lucky seven opportunity. So he will no longer be the television champion. So, well, basically, for those of you that don't watch NWA, if you are a champion, not the world champion, but if you are a champion and you win 7 matches, you can cash it in for a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship by vacating the championship that you have. Carson Drake is doing that, and he's going against Latimer. Sorry, Carson, you're not coming out of that match with the NWA Championship. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's him, or it's me, as he likes to say. You will not be winning the NWA Heavyweight Championship, in my opinion, on this show. I will, however, like to see who will be winning the NWA Television Championship. Maybe that's something that comes up at a later date. I do not know. We will find out. Now, earlier on, I said to you as I was going through this, there'll be a match that's on the show that will kind of give away potentially the Jack Dane Memorial stuff. Well, there's actually 2. And we're going to get to one of them now, which is going to be the Country Gentleman, which is going to be AJ and Casey Kazana against the Southern Six, Alex Taylor and Kerry Morton, which indicates Kerry Morton is not in the Jack Dane Memorial Final. Interesting. However, obviously, what we've got to remember is the Crockett Cup is right around the corner, and the Southern Six may well be defending their Crockett Cup championship or Crockett Cup title, so to speak. With that in mind, I'm going to say the Southern Six beat the Country Gentlemen. I'm sure Joe Kazana will have it all done by the book. But it does throw into question Kerry Morton's NWA World Heavyweight Championship opportunity with a Jack Stane Memorial, because the finals of the Jack Stane Memorial are indeed on this show. Now, that doesn't mean to say he doesn't get there. He can do double duty. He can wrestle twice in a night, potentially. So we will see. But for me, the Southern Six win that. Unfortunately, the Country Gentlemen, you do not win. We're going to get to the World Tag Team Championships now. It is a ladder match for the World Tag Team Championship, which pits Knox and Murdoch against the Slam Balls. There you go, Carl. I hope I done you proud with that. Um, Ladder match. I can't see Knox and Murdoch losing this ladder match. Well, actually, it's the NWA, so I absolutely could see it happening. I just don't think it will happen. I think Knox and Murdoch retain the tag team championships on this occasion anyway. It'd be interesting now. The Slime Balls get an opportunity to take the tag team championships back to Slime Ball City. We will see if they do that. I just don't think it's going to happen at Hard Times. A really intriguing one here next pits Mike Mondo, my boy. Yes, he's been on the show. Go to the playlist, have a look. Against Max the Impaler, who has been on an incredible losing streak. And I see it continuing at Hard Times. Max is not the same without Jim Mitchell. That is without a shadow of a doubt. And Mike Mondo's been on a good run recently. He's got to have championships in his mind. And if he was to be the former dual television champion, that must put him in contention for an opportunity at the championship. So for me, Mike Mondo gets a huge victory over Max the Impaler and potentially catapults him into an opportunity at the gold. That on Hard Times. Now, interesting. The NWA Women's World Tag Team Championships. Now, we said earlier on that Tiffany Neves and Miss Star may have been a one and done, and they did lose on Power. However, they have an opportunity to win the Tag Team Championships from Kenzie Page and Big Mama. Now, this is interesting because I'm going to say this. Tiffany Nieves and Miss Star win the tag team championships from Kenzie and Big Mama. Kylie Page costs Kenzie the tag, cost even Big Mama, maybe even the gold. There you go. Which brings me very nicely to the number one contendership match for the Women's World Championship between Natalia Markova and Kylie Page. The winner will take on Kenzie Page at NWA 77. I'm still sticking with Markova here on this. Oh, am I? Because it's just throwing, the whole thing is just throwing a spanner in the works with what we've seen on NWA Power this week. I'm going to stick with Markova. Markova was my pick from day one. I know there's got to be a story between Kenzie and Kylie coming up. There has to be. But I'm going to go with Markova to win this match. And she will dethrone Kenzie at NWA 76. I feel that's been there for so long that if Markova loses, she can never go for that women's championship. That's my opinion. So she has to win it. So for me, Markova beats Kylie Page and then goes on to beat Kenzie Page at NWA 77. Big Strong Mims with Black G's versus Wrecking Ball Legursky for the National Heavyweight Championship. Mims retains this. Legursky's on the run. I'm not sure whether Jay Bradley's injured here from the Fixers. But we're seeing Wrecking Ball in a lot more singles action, which is I'm all for that. Very, very good in the ring. Very deceiving for his size. Lost a lot of weight too. Fair play to him. I don't see Mims losing this right now. I think he's on a great one with Black G's, and he's got to be close to the Lucky Seven himself. Surely. If he wins this, he must be in a very good contention for the Lucky Seven opportunity. Because don't forget, if you're defending the championship on the territories, that counts. So, interesting. Mims should be near the lucky seven opportunity. In my opinion, he does beat Wrecking Ball Lugurski. Now, what we can't do here, it's TBD versus TBD for the number one contendership for the World's Heavyweight Championship in the Jack's Day Memorial Finals. TBD wins that one, guys. But then this is the other bit. The last match at Hard Times as of the 19th of... Oh, no, there is one more match. Sorry. There is one more match that's not on here. And I'm going to have to go and open up my messages that I sent Fiona. There is one more match on Wikipedia, which, like I said, throws a spanner in the works to the Jack's Day Memorial Tournament from what we know. And this match is a rematch from the show recently, which pits Brian Idol against Thrill Billy Silas Mason. Now, think about Jack's Day Memorial. Maybe Brian Idol cost Thrill Billy the opportunity against Colby Carino. There's an opportunity. There you go. That could be the case. And nevertheless, they're going to have their match. Their match was cut short due to injury. If you remember that stiff chair shot from Thrill Billy to Brian, it looks that Kill He fell on his shoulder, dislocated the shoulder. We know that. We've spoken to Brian Idol since. Thrill Billy, man, look, you said you were coming on this show, dude. Come on, man. Let's bring you on. Come on, we want you on this show. We really do. I think Idol wins that. Oh no. Does he? In all fairness, he should win that match. No, I'm going with Silas Mason to win it. In all fairness, Idol should win it, but because of all what happened previously, but I'm going to go for Thrill Billy. And now finally the match that I've actually just noticed that this coming Saturday, which pits Damien Fenner, don't know. And I'm sure we've seen him before in NWA. His opponent, though, I haven't seen in NWA. It's former TNA star who's recently been on AEW. Crazy Steve will make his NWA debut. I think it's his debut. Apologies if it's not, guys. Don't forget, I'm not as faux pas with this as Fee. So, Crazy Steve for me has to win. Crazy Steve with me has to win that match. For me, has to win that match because I like Crazy Steve in TNA. Thought he was great. So that's my winner. There you go. That basically rolls up Hard Times this coming weekend. We hope the NWA has an amazing show. They always seem to do. They're in Dolphin, Alabama at the Dolphin Civic Center. I'm not sure if there is any tickets left, but if you go to NWALiveEvents.com, you can get yourself down to see what will no doubt be a fantastic show. And of course, you can watch NWA every week on the NWA's official X channel. I will get the address now for you in case you do not know what it is. It is at NWA. They pin the latest episode straight to their X, so you can watch it straight away, guys. Please do. There is a tremendous organization. Billy and the team are working wonders. Also, congratulations. Oh, first of all, happy birthday to Billy. I think we may have done that last week if we did. And also congratulations to Billy on another thing, because the birth of his third child has been, I think, confirmed today. So if that is the case, Billy, congratulations to you. But that is NWA this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We do miss Fee. Fee, continue to have a great time in Texas. I'm loving the pictures. Obviously get back here safe because I need my NWA ride or die back to watch these shows with. But we'll be back with more NWA next week as the Jack's Day Memorial Tournament continues, and you can watch us, or you can visit us at HTT Buckle on X, at HTT Buckle on YouTube, hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on other social media platforms. But if you're an NWA fan, I'll see you next week. If you're not, if you're a fan of wrestling, drop in tomorrow. Atomic Wrestling on NWA on Independent Showcase. SmackDown review will be happening this Friday. I promise you. Straight after SmackDown goes off the air, I'll be on here reviewing SmackDown from Bologna, Italy. Big weekend coming up on there for the WWE. So watch that as well. And until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.